I love you, Janet Jackson, but I mean, the truth of the matter is, all you fall in love with, if it ain't smoking drugs, sticking drugs in swallowing a drug, then you don't want no parts of them. She ain't been with a nigga yet who ain't had a problem with drugs, except for her baby father. That rich man over across the country. And she ain't want him, because he don't do drugs. God sends certain people into our lives when we need them most. And at about that time, he sent me a messenger named Gabe Horowitz. Some people might be surprised to see Gabe and God's names in the same sentence. But the reason for it will become evident later on. I met him through the great Lucille Ball. Remember that. She is one of the funniest women that have ever lived. And if you think I'm wrong, drop down below and tell me that. I met him through the great Lucille Ball, whom I knew through Dennis Edwards' landlord, Paula Stewart, a longtime friend of Lucy's. Lucy was a great dame who truly cared about people. If you were lucky enough to call her friend, you knew she had your back. She definitely had mine. She recruited me to play in her annual Lucille Ball Salem Ultra backgammon tournament, which benefited Children's Hospital Orthopedic Division back in the late 1970s and early 80s. Backgammon was the rage among the rich set in Los Angeles. Most bars and high-end clubs had a couple of tables. At the time, Pips in Beverly Hills was the backgammon mecca, and Gabe Horowitz was the king of backgammon. Back then, he called himself Gabriel Monet. I didn't know his real name until I started writing this book, nor that he secretly wed O.J. Simpson's prosecutor, Marcia Clark, in 1976. Lucy sent him to teach me how to play. And when Gabe pulled up in my driveway in a beautiful Rolls-Royce convertible and I saw that flowing mane of curly brown hair, casual jacket, collared shirt unbuttoned to show off his chest, and an early family of black and white Pomeranians in the back seat, I thought, Lord, who is this guy? Gabe learned backgammon from his father, a diamond dealer from Poland who later immigrated to Israel. Gabe came to the States from Israel as a teen and started playing backgammon at the homes of wealthy Beverly Hills residents and charming their socks off. What? That's a real job? That's a job to go to the rich people's house and play backgammon? Gabe's fleet of fine automobiles included his Rolls, several Cadillacs, Lincolns, Mercedes, Porsches, a Bentley, and a Maserati. Each time he pulled up to my place, he was in a different car. One time when I was on tour, he had my black Mercedes SEL 500 tricked out just like his. When I got back, we had great fun playing with our expensive toys. He was a great guy and wonderful company, I bet. I learned much more from him than how to play backgammon. Gabe was a member of the Church of Scientology, which was neither here nor there as far as I was concerned, and told me about Narconon International, a drug rehabilitation program that had helped many celebrities deal with substance abuse issues. Why does Narconon sound so familiar? Is it because it has like commercials and stuff that they play on the television? Is that like hooked up with the show Intervention? Like, it's weird. It's like I've heard it before, but anyway, I'll move forward. It turned out that Narconon was an offshoot of Scientology, but I didn't make that connection when Gabe pitched it to me. I thought it was just an independent drug and alcohol recovery program. Narconon's 8 primary phases to recovery addressed emotions, personal integrity, and self-worth, a more positive outlook on life, setting goals, building constructive relationships, and finding the ability to lead a happy and productive drug-free life. The program also included a detoxification process involving exercise, low-heat saunas, a vitamin, mineral, and oil regimen, a regular diet of fruits and vegetables, and getting the proper amount of sleep. I signed up, and every single day for 5 weeks immersed myself in the program for at least 5 hours. I was so enthused about Narconon that I enrolled Fawn and Malik. Unlike me, however, they were admitted for inpatient treatment, and that's when I got second thoughts. Narconon put Fawn and Malik up in an apartment complex where they were kept under constant surveillance by people with walkie-talkies. Narconon reps began showing up at my house twice a week, asking very detailed and personal questions that made me more than a little uncomfortable. The clincher was the arrival of bills from Narconon, amounting to almost $70,000. I paid them, got Fawn and Malik out of there, and gently disengaged myself from the program. Far be it from me to give a negative impression of everything I experienced, because Narconon has helped many people over the years, and it got me pointed in the right direction towards recovery. But now it was time to look elsewhere. My new perspective made me open and receptive to things I would have blown off in the past. When my son Malik, who was bravely finding sobriety on his own, asked me to go with him to the 12-step meeting in Beverly Hills, I agreed, although with secret reservations. What I expected was to see people in raggedy clothes, maybe one step above homelessness, sitting around, chain-smoking cigarettes, and telling boring war stories. What a surprise to find instead that everyone at the meeting was well-dressed and successful, and they were laughing, talking, eating donuts, and drinking coffee, enjoying each other's company. Malik and I were inseparable at the time, and each other's strength. We often went out to clubs together and sipped sodas and danced our butts off. Malik has always been a people magnet. Wherever he goes, others naturally gravitate towards him because his personality is totally infectious, and he has the looks and fashion sense of a movie star. Especially, of course, the ladies. When not out of town, we'd attend meetings. We were working hard at staying sober, but as much as I enjoyed and relied on those meetings, I hadn't yet taken what 12-steppers call the first step, by standing up in front of everyone and admitting that I was an addict. That first step was absolutely vital because I had not taken it. It would have kept me from being my authentic self and becoming who I really wanted to be. It was scary as hell, like standing up naked in a room full of people, but I finally did it. And hallelujah, it was purifying and empowering. Right now, I'm at that point in my life where I can look at my mistakes and learn from them and move forward. I can admit to myself and others that I have made a mistake or mistakes. And it's always like a weight lifted. But when you're not taking accountability for your mistakes and not apologizing to the people who deserve apologies for your mistakes, you're holding a burden on you. And you're pushing the people that you love away. Because if you're doing them wrong and they're telling you, wait a minute, you're doing me wrong. This is wrong. I don't like this. But you won't own up to it, you still have a long way to go in life. A long way to grow in life. As I've racked up more and more days of sobriety, the desire to do drugs and drink alcohol almost vanished completely. I have savored my sobriety and will always defend it with a vengeance. But I quickly learned that being sober doesn't protect you from the thorns that come with the roses. Every music genre is a harsh mistress, and entertainment careers tend to run pretty hot and cold, especially if you're a black female. By the mid-1980s, the Pointer Sisters were the second most successful female act of all time, behind the Supremes. And even they didn't have a happy ending or much money in their pockets when all was said and done. We knew better than to rest on our laurels. Resting at all was out of the question. Hot Together, released in November 1986, signaled the start of a downturn in the Pointer Sisters' recording career. In terms of performance, Hot Together paled in comparison to Breakout and Even Contact, peaking at number 48 on Billboard. That was surprising, given all the PR juice we put into the album, including a number of interviews on late-night television, a steady stream of concerts, placement in the soundtracks for the films Spaceballs, Stakeout, and Jumping Jack Flash, a video for Goldmine, and our first network television special, Up All Night, which aired on NBC in January 1987. Paula Abdul choreographed some great moves on the Gold Mine video and was a rah-rah director who could go all night. And frequently did, but pause, wait a minute. Let me tell you what Miss Ruthie said, that bitch was on something. She like, wait a minute, okay, rah-rah Paula Abdul. You know, I understand that you're excited about your art, okay, your artistry. Paula Abdul was basically choreographing all the videos around that time because remember Janet Jackson's Pleasure Principle? She did that one. But I wonder if Janet Jackson was like, wait a minute, looking real shady with this Paula Abdul. Because you know Janet Jackson know a pill popper when she see one because that's all she messed with. I love you, Janet Jackson. But, I mean, the truth of the matter is all you fall in love with, if it ain't smoking drugs, sticking drugs in swallowing a drug, then you don't want no parts of them. Okay, that's just what it is. She ain't been with a nigga yet who ain't had a problem with drugs except for her baby father. That rich man over across the country. And she ain't want him because he don't do drugs. Ruthie was like, what the fuck is going on with this broad? What's happening with her? Why she so excited? Ruthie say that lady is on something. She too perky around here. The hell is happening here? I'm sober. I'm trying to stay sober. But I suspected the perky ex-LA Laker cheerleader and a few others on the set might have had some chemical help. Don't forget she was on that American Idol nodding off. They had to randomly nudge her, Paula, bitch, it's your turn. After an all-day shoot with midnight rapidly approaching, I was exhausted. This was in the very early stages of my drug and alcohol recovery, and I was still pretty fragile. I was no longer up for all-night partying and was simply tired. I had my assistant, Mindy, pull the car up to the door of the soundstage so I could make a quick getaway after one more take. Then I told Paula straight up, look, I'm sorry, but I'm giving you one more take. You can stay up all night if you want to, but I've got to go to bed. Damned if she didn't want yet another take when we finished. But I just walked off the stage, out the door, and into the idling car. You better believe it. I ain't got all day with you, young pill popper, to be giving my life away to you in these fucking choreographical steps. Up all night was a much more pleasurable experience. The hour-long special, directed by Emmy-winning producer Don Mischer, was a fast-stepping musical trip around LA's hotspots and included cameos by Bruce Willis, Whoopi Goldberg, and the Maguire sisters. Everything with Bruce was cool until Bill Whitmore, that would be June's husband, screwed that up with his typical skill. Bill got his undies in a major bundle when, as he was hovering around acting important, a member of Bruce's security team asked to see his credentials. Bill went into gangster mode and even threatened to shoot up the set. What? Girl! And the cops had to be summoned. Come to think of it, though, one of the high points of the night was seeing Wild Bill get run off the premises. I bet. Up All Night marked my dog Langley's network debut. Langley was a 3-pound Yorkshire Terrier and my constant companion. My friend Paula Stewart had several Yorkies, and I enjoyed playing with them during my visits with her. The breed is highly intelligent, sweet, and playful. Paula found me a breeder so I could have my own Yorkie to keep me company on the road. Langley, named after Langley... Shut up, Lou. Paula found me a breeder so I could have my own Yorkie to keep me company on the road. Langley, named after Langley Wallingford, my favorite character, actor Louis Edmonds on All My Children, was my constant travel companion for the next 5 years. That little sucker was smart and mischievous. Having Langley with me was nice, but even after 4 failed marriages and more heartache than a jukebox full of country tunes, I still believed in and hungered for a man's love. I was a bona fide sucker for guys who were tall, handsome, talented, and as I got older, younger than me. Girl, Lamont Page fit that bill to a T. The one drawback was his addiction to crack. Lamont, whose show business handle was Sherrick, was being groomed for recording stardom by Renoma Gordy Singleton, former wife of Motown founder Berry Gordy.